four former Transnet executives have been granted bail of 50,000 rand each by the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Ekurhuleni, Gauteng. Let's hear from SABC News reporter Katlego Legodi, who's standing by for us in court. Good afternoon, Katlego. Just talk us through the bail proceedings. We know that the four have been granted 50,000 rand bail each.
A very good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and to our viewers at home. You're right, 50,000 rand. That is what that bail has been kept at, looking at four of these accused former executives from Transnet that appeared today in relation to a locomotive tender. You know very well that these are matters that emanate from the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, and we see four of them today handing themselves over to the police earlier on in the morning. This is where then it led to where you find us this afternoon, but this matter sitting before the magistrate here, who had to ensure that at least they prove that they are not a flight risk. They prove that they can afford this bail. Again, they prove that they're in any way going to support the works of the courts in not interfering with what is happening here. So the state had wanted 200,000 rand, but we see this court deciding that it's going to cap that bail at 50,000 rand, with this matter now postponed to October. We're going to bring into the conversation with us this afternoon, who's addressing us as the media, the IDEC spokesperson, Mr. Henry Mamotame, who'll just give us a sense of where to from here, because we understand as well, Mfundo, that there's another similar case that pertains to Transnet and locomotives that will play itself out in the courts, but this time around it will be in February 2026. We're going to bring him into the conversation to give us a sense of some of the developments in this course. Mr. Mamotame, thank you very much, Troy. Welcome. Just give us a sense of what came out of the course today.
Well, the accused, as you may have heard, they are facing 18 charges. That includes fraud, corruption, contravention of the Public Finance Management Act, and the contravention of the Companies Act. These charges relate to the acquisition of 3 contracts for locomotives in Transnet between the period of 2011 and 2014. Now, in this process, when Transnet took a decision to expand and modernize its services, there was a need for these contracts or tenders for bidders to be called and bid for these tenders. And processes, the state will prove in court that processes were flouted, hence the accused appeared in court today. The matter is now postponed to 6 October for final investigations to be concluded.
Henry, there is already an ongoing case, Transnet case, against some of these accused in the Johannesburg High Court. Most of the accused here are saying, why did you not amend that docket and add those charges in that ongoing case instead of bringing a new case?
We are dealing with very complex matters. These are matters that emanate from the state capture. Now, in our approach, in our holistic approach as IDEC, we investigate the whole information that was provided in the State Capture Commission. Henceforth, you will realize that we have staggered our approach in terms of laying charges against or formulating charges against accused persons. This case also emanates from the acquisition of the 1,064 locomotives stemming from the previous case, but the facts are different. In this matter, we have 3 contracts, different contracts from the first case that is set for trial in February. There are 3 contracts additional to the acquisition of the 1,064 locomotives. These contracts are from the 100, which were supposed to be put on tender, and we have 95 again, and we have the entire 1,064, which was staggered. Now, the flouting of processes in these 3 contracts, that's where the state was able to come up with charges, formulate charges that we believe will be sustained in a trial.
You had wanted 200,000 rand a bail. We see the court deciding to cap it at 50,000 rand. Maybe do give us a sense of why you wanted to push it all the way up to 200,000 rand.
These are very serious charges leveled against the accused persons, and we also need to consider the amount that is involved in these charges that are laid against the accused and the seriousness of these charges. Therefore, the bail amount that we preferred was based on the fact that we are looking at these charges as very serious and could lead to a serious conviction at a later stage. Therefore, we thought 200,000 was a base for us to move on and persuade the court to release them on 200,000 bail.
Mr. Mamatame, can we expect to see further people joining into this case, further arrests where this matter is concerned, or these 4 are the only ones that we can expect to see this case through?
At this stage, I will not disclose anything regarding matters of investigations, but however, we will move at this stage with the 4 that are facing the charges before the court.
All right. Mr. Henry Mamotame coming through there, and you get him just giving us a sense of how things are going to move here, and we're expecting, and you hear him making this distinction, Mfundo, that these are 2 matters. They're not involving the same contracts. One will play itself out in February 2026, but this matter will sit now in October, on the 6th of October, and we hear them saying that they are going to continue with their investigations, but also their passports have been taken. They are not allowed to move, and at the same time they are going to really be pushing to ensure that they get all of the evidence that they are looking for in ensuring that they build up this case. As the contention here, Mfundo, was that these are similar cases. They involve Transnet, they involve locomotives. Why not bring them together? But we see the state saying that it would be prudent going forward for these cases to be separated and for them to appear separately. But what we know is that these 4 would form part of those that are appearing again in the coming year. Mfundo?
All right, Katlego, thank you very much. A very important distinction that has been made there in relation to the 2 cases which all involve the 1,064 locomotives.